Hi, Berenice. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. I'm Bernice.
And I'm Ella. Woo! I did things out of order. I don't think I've ever said hello before I said welcome back.
No, that was different. New year, new us. Listen, we can always change it up. Today's a new day, okay?
Girl, what's up with you? How have you been?
I've been good. Definitely it's interesting. So I was just thinking about this today. I have periods of time in my life, like in the summer, I get really sad because some sad things have happened
Mm-hmm.
to me in summer months, summer days. Okay. So my
Yeah.
body, I swear to God, it comes to August, July, and it's like it knows. It knows we went through something and it doesn't want it or like it. And then some magical thing happens once it starts to get dark. I don't know if this is because like we grew up in Seattle and it's been literally a fight all my life to remain levels of like serotonin high enough so I don't lose it. But every time like it starts to come around this time, I get really active. I'm like, okay, I need to go to the gym. I need to start doing my little whip dance. It's called flowing. I need to like regulate like my schedule, my sleeping schedule, make sure I'm getting sleep just because I know me and I know that if I don't do these things, I'm about to get into a dark, deep depression during the winter time. So luckily for me, as much as PTSD my body holds sometimes, so does good habits. So like today, I guess it was getting like really dark and chilly, and I went to see the sunset at 4 p.m. And my body immediately said, "Let's go on a run. It's
Oh
time to
my
move
god.
forward, girl. We're not getting messy depressy today." And I was like, okay, let's do that. And I went on my little run. So Strong Girl Winter is coming and I am embracing all of it.
Strong Girl Winter. Have you heard of a winter arc?
Yeah, of course. I love winter. Fall, winter are my favorite seasons because it's like resiliency. You know what I mean? Like that just proves character, builds character.
I love it. I love your spin on it. Yes.
Um,
I think I'm trying to have that energy. It's rough.
what's going
Rough.
on?
No,
Oh
honestly, y'all, literally all things are good though. It's everything's good. Like bad day, not bad life. Like I took Berenice's advice. I went, took a shower, put on a little cunty outfit. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is a Reformation top that I found for $7.99 at Goodwill. I have found two things from Reformation lately at Goodwill, and this is why I never pay full price, baby. Is because I can find it at Goodwill. But
period.
now my day is like completely turned around. We're totally fine. But I think in the winter time, like I have to also be really diligent about my schedule. And today, oh my god, I went cuckoo bananas. The schedule was not scheduling. And I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna fucking spiral. I'm gonna get depressed. I can tell. But then I was like, you know what, girl? It's one day.
Gonna
You
be
think
okay.
that like I'm a little bit more resilient than just one bad day could throw me off, but like I'm not fully sure, I'm not fully
We're not
confident
better
in
than
that.
that.
Yeah, so I just was like, cunty outfit, hot cup of tea, and then I am really excited for Thanksgiving this week.
Oh yeah,
Now
it
I
is.
don't
It is.
say
Right.
it's been really funny because I've been like talking to my coworkers and I'm like, okay, yeah, have a good couple days off. And they're like, oh yeah, you mean happy Thanksgiving? And I was like, I don't know how
Yeah.
you feel about colonialism. I don't know how you feel about the genocide of the Native Americans. So you never know. It might not be happy Thanksgiving for you, babes.
Yeah.
But I will say I'm going to be gathering with 25 of my closest relatives, which seems like
Wow.
fucking nuts. But there's just, when you just, people add up quickly. You have
People
someone that had a
do.
lot of siblings, that have a lot of kids. There we go.
Yeah. And I do want to say for anyone that's feeling a little iffy about gathering with some people they may not want to see this Thanksgiving, you're totally valid not to want to do that or to give yourself some
Mm-hmm.
space or to sit through the dinner and excuse yourself to talk about whatever you want to talk about, to not talk about whatever you don't want to talk about. I think all those things are valid and, protect your energy, protect your aura. I know that some of us have chosen families and that's where it's at. And if that's your choice for this holiday, I think that's beautiful.
I do too. I guess like before we get into the episode, one holiday tip that I feel like has really helped me is putting on a time limit. And if you only want to spend 1 hour, that's totally valid. I'm being so real. Like, it might seem like it's like, oh my god, they just came and left. Bitch, you're lucky I came at all. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, like, at least for my family, like, they'll be there till fucking 2 a.m. chit chatting, yapping.
Yapping.
Okay. And you gotta say, hey, I got a bedtime. Or like, oh my god, thank you guys so much. I'm happy I can see everybody, but early morning tomorrow morning. Usually work is always an acceptable excuse. So go ahead and lie. I'm big on little lies to get out of things. So if you have to say, I have to work so early tomorrow morning. Sorry, I have to go. Love you. Bye. Do that. I give you permission.
Sure. And if you're a little orphan like me, honestly, past years, I've just like stayed home and like gotten myself dinner and just given myself the day. And I do enjoy that. However, I have become New York's most favorite orphan. And I have been invited to a lot of other people's Thanksgiving dinners. Will I do it? I don't know. Do I need to be around other people's families during the holidays? The thing is, I want to eat, right? And that's where the good food
Yeah.
I know is going to be at. But at what price? You know what I mean? Like I kind of want to eat and I want to dip, but like I can't do that. So we'll see what I choose. No, but I am grateful for all my homies that have been inviting me to their family Thanksgivings. That's fucking beautiful. I
That
just
is
don't know if I'm
beautiful.
that girl. Yeah, yeah.
With that, babes, I'm really excited for this episode. Berenice picked a banger topic, and I'm on my rants lately.
Yeah, we're ready
I
for
don't know
some
why.
we're ready for some rants
Ready for
today.
some rants? Let's do it. Well, thanks for your concern.
So I'm gonna probably catch some heat for this. I actually got this. So I'm always out here talking shit about anime. I know I do that, but I don't dislike anime, and I actually got this topic from a reel about like Demon Slayer. It's an anime. Whatever.
Oh my god, look how far we've come.
I don't want to talk about it, okay? But essentially, today's topic is be careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for, baby.
We all want things in life, but sometimes, at least until now, this time in my life, you don't realize how much effort and work goes into really getting what you want in a spiritual and fundamental level. Okay? No, because I was thinking about this. So essentially, this anime reel pops up and it says, you wanted more discipline, so you were tested with temptation. You want it to be stronger, so you're facing setbacks. You want it to find peace, so you're tested with chaos, and you want it loved, so you're learning to love yourself. And when I tell you, I sat there for a minute and I was like, what wizardy is this? Because this shit is true. I sat for the past 3 years, my affirmations involved like me telling myself I am worthy of a love that's not reflective of my traumas, right? And like, I do believe that now, but I couldn't tell you that I have not spent the past 3 years repeating my freaking cycles and patterns of trauma in order to unlearn that. Be careful what you wish for.
Like, witches on TikTok will tell you, like, be careful about manifestations and spells and like spell work and shit, because you can manifest like the wrong thing. And like, I'm not saying I brought on the global pandemic, but like, I was desperate for a fucking break. I was praying. I was like, oh my god, please God, like, I need a fucking
Get me
summer
out of
again.
here.
Like, like, summer break is like probably the thing I miss most in my life, is like, 2 months where you did not have to do your main priority. And so I was like, I need a break, I need a break, I need a break. And then the global pandemic happened, and baby, I got a fucking break, okay?
Maybe that was a communal manifestation that everybody wanted a goddamn break. Be careful what you wish for. That's not what we meant.
Okay, obviously pandemic was tough, but like, honestly, having a break was really hard. Like, I literally feel like I learned that I actually don't like peace and calm and quiet and nothing to do. I like the idea of nothing to do, but I was fucking bored as shit.
Yeah, the pandemic did allow for a lot of people to sit with their feelings, and I don't know if we were
Mhm.
all ready for that. Personally, I
Mm-mm.
wasn't. That did embark a lot of the things that I thought I wanted. One of them being, I want to move to New York. There was a lot of things that maybe I could have planned a little different. There's consequences, there's a price to pay for anything in life. And although I think like it's worth the price, you should always kind of outweigh your options and look at the whole picture when thinking about what is it that I want? What does that look like? And if that is within a certain place, or if you can make that happen at home.
Something I think about is no matter where you go, you will always be there. So I think I did a big move thinking it would solve all my problems. I'm gonna say it solved 50% of my problems, okay? But then there were the other 50% I still had to deal with. I fully embrace and like transformation and like changing locations, like one of the easiest ways to like transform your life. So
Yeah.
if you're contemplating a big move, yes, but know that there's probably you're gonna pack up some of your baggage and just bring it with you. So, that's going to be my advice, or, is like you try to like escape and like go somewhere different, expecting it to like be like, "Oh my god, my life is going to be totally different." And it is, but then there's still stuff.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
there's like a little bit of peace in knowing that like if you think like, "Oh my god, I literally need to leave. I need to get out of this town or whatever." You might be able to get 50% better by like looking inward. If it's acceptable to move right now.
if you're unable to physically move anywhere, you can start changing things within yourself and your environment and then physically move. I will tell you, like, moving from Seattle to New York and noticing some of the same patterns that I've had my entire life, they do become easier to spot when I'm like, oh my god, I was just like this sad about this thing there, and now I'm this sad about this thing here. Is it different because now I'm on my own and I have to navigate all of those things by myself? Yeah, and it's really hard. Is it hard to ignore because now I know it's not really about Seattle. It's about my pattern, my behavior. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what's one thing that I'm kind of happy Berenice talked me out of, but because I think I was wishing for something that I don't think I would have obtained with that, was when I really wanted to live in a van.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I really wanted to live in a van, and I think it was because I was like, I want freedom, like I want less bills or whatever. But that surely would have helped a little bit, but I don't think logistically I would have had as much freedom as I like would have wanted, if that makes sense. Like, cuz at the end of the day, you have to still make money some way. So unless you're like, now it honestly would make sense now that I'm remote that I could like go live freely. But it's like, no, you still have this job that's in this city, so you're just gonna have to live in a van outside of your work. What's gonna happen to all your stuff? Why do you want to live in the van? And Berenice asked me questions that like I was like, you know what, these are really valid. I honestly think that this van thing might not be good right now.
Here's the thing. In practical terms, the van is a good idea, okay? And I will say, and as a concept, it's a great idea because you can travel, you're up and go, you can make your home wherever you are. Which, yes, it's a great concept for people with that lifestyle. But Ella loved to take 2 3 hour baths, and
Yeah.
I just and like often, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I just didn't see how that was gonna happen in a van.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't even think of that. It's like, are you really gonna poop in this room? Like it's like, no, probably not. Like, yeah, I think it just didn't make sense for me. But what I wanted, and honestly, this is kind of what therapy unlocks, is like, this is not really a tangent, but it's like, be careful of what you wish for. Is like, when you wish for something, make sure you know what you're wishing for. Because I think sometimes, like for me, why I get distressed and upset about something isn't the thing, right? Like this morning, my alarm went off at the wrong time. I set the alarm at the wrong time. I didn't get to Pilates this morning, and I was fucking irate. Okay, I didn't get to hot Pilates this morning. I'm pissed off. I was really looking forward to that, and I was thinking, it's like, well, why am I upset about missing Pilates? well, it's really the only thing I like wanted to do in the day because I hadn't decided, to record the podcast yet. So it's like the only thing I was looking forward to. And it's like, okay, wow, maybe I need more things to look forward to in my day.
Period.
It's not the
100%.
Pilates, it's like feeling good in my body. It's doing things that I want to do.
I see that with a lot of like dreams and ambitions now. I think that a lot of people get really caught up in like really wanting to make like one thing work. And I don't think that's bad. Like I met a lot of kids in school who really wanted to be good at school because they really wanted to get into like a college and they really wanted to do like one thing later. And now they're doing something else. Or, you have like the tale of like, I spend so much time worrying about this one thing that I kind of forgot to live my life, to worry about my family, my friends. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I think like getting down to what it is that you really want and are looking for in whatever situation that you're in. If you're looking for success, what does success mean to you? It doesn't have to be like one specific thing. You know what I mean? Like for me, is like I think my success as a creative person is being able to be creative every day and somehow financially support myself. That's it. And live comfortably, and I want to travel. That's it. That's my level of success. If I'm able to do the things that I want and enjoy what I want to do, then like I will be at peace with that, regardless of what that looks like, whichever medium chooses me, whatever road I may take. I think it's like that has given me a lot more peace in that sense. I think it's good to aim at something for direction, but to know in your heart that if we land somewhere around it, like that's okay too. It's a nice little reminder of what everything is for. It makes you less like bummed out, I guess, if something doesn't play out. Like your life isn't over because that one thing didn't play out, and then you have like an identity crisis because you're like, this is who I thought I was all my life.
Flexibility is an underrated trait, right? And I actually think that's one of the reasons why am where I am where career wise is because I haven't been married to like one industry, one company, one da 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 da. It's like whatever, man. I'm gonna go where the money is and where I'm gonna like the work, but I don't know if it needs to be specific to an industry. It has helped me out a lot.
I think it's human nature to compare yourself to other people. Like it just is. Like you see people that you grew up with doing certain things, or people you graduated with maybe in the same field, and they just got to a place in a different time frame than you, or they just got somewhere in a different way. You're going to get to where you need to be for you, but you got to trust your own process and enjoy the ride. I think right now I'm at the moment where I see people like I graduated with, or even younger people, get certain jobs, and I'm like, oh wow, it's like interesting how they got there. And then I think, is that really like where I wanted to end up though? You know what I mean? Like, or am I happy with the fact that I've really gotten to know myself as a creative person by not going straight into a design job? Because if I would have gone straight into a design job from graduating, I would be a corporate designer. And is that
Hmm.
really like what I wanted? Is that really what I want? No. So in that sense, I think it like, it really like gives you some perspective that you're like, I'm not exactly where I need to be yet, but I have learned a lot about myself and I have developed myself in these specific ways.
I love yes, baby. In dating, I think some people are looking for like they're asking for certain characteristics, but then they're looking for a certain looking package. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, maybe you should broaden your horizons on type because I think if that's what you want. Now, bitch, if you say what you're looking for is like just a looking type, then that's fine. But I feel like a lot of people are like when you ask them like, "Oh, what are you looking for in a guy?" They'll say personality traits, but then they're like only looking for one type of dude. It's like, well, that personality trait, like the universe could be giving it to you in just another package.
Yeah, this one's tough because you can explain what you want in so many ways, but it might not necessarily be what you need. I see this with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, I see this with everybody, but sometimes men in particular, they have this vision of like their dream person. And I don't want to sound mean when I say you do not equate to this person. Like, you know what I mean? Like your compatibility to this person based on your habits, things that make you happy are not the same as this person. So it's either you're going to want to change everything about yourself or you just like the idea of that person. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And sometimes, like, I see people getting so caught up in a fantasy. Like, you will really put people on a pedestal that you can't reach for what? And I see people getting into relationships with people they're not necessarily super compatible with and then hide things from them. Okay, sometimes I see a lot of people like pairings where like the guy is like, no, she's like everything I want, like in a woman. She's just like has her life together and she has her this. But they're like lying to her about like part of who they are or like their habits or like stuff like that. And I'm like, then does that person really know you and love you for you? And do you feel comfortable like that? Because personally, I don't. If I know our lifestyles don't match, I know you're not gonna go for me.
Also, just on like a on some levels, I've also seen this with people. Not only like, oh, you're asking for something you're not compatible for. It's kind of like when someone gets into a job not knowing what the job entails. It's like if you ask for somebody who's a go getter, an entrepreneur, da 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 da, all these things, and then they don't have a lot of time to spend with you. It's like, okay, well, some things are not compatible, so maybe broaden like what you're looking for, or like I like to just say like have like a core 5, you know what I'm saying, a core 5 things that you want, and kind of look for those things but kind of ignore everything else because some things like just might not come in good packages. Same thing with like I think like when you like the idea of like dating a DJ or a comedian, but what does that look like? They're on the road. I just mean like a lot of girls like because a lot of girls like want to date comedians, and it's like, well, if you want to date a comedian who makes any money, he's on the road. You know what I'm saying? What does that look like? That looks like you don't see your boyfriend for 2 to 3 weeks, you know?
Yeah, I think Delululand is a great place to live at, but I will tell you something as someone who's around a lot of DJs, it is not a nice place to be at. Like these clubs, like everything is like kind of shallow. People are fucked up all the time. People don't go to bed until like 6, 7 a.m. So like that's a really hard routine to like a healthy routine to want to carry. It might be like a cute little look, but like in reality, it isn't. Like some of the people I hang out with that are DJs, I was like, I don't think I could ever date you because you're trying to go to afters at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like either I'm going with you, or like why are you going to afters? Like this is not giving me husband material. You know?
It's not giving husband material, and like sometimes when people are interested in me, I think I've thought like it's incongruent. They can't have two things at once. Like you can't have like, oh, I really like a strong independent woman who also does whatever the fuck I tell her to do and is like wanting to be
Yeah,
a
dude,
like
that's the worst.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, you know that I am literally like, no one tells me anything. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, why sometimes I had dudes that were just like act kind of crazy because I'm like, no, but you like this specifically told me you liked it because I like challenged you and that I spoke my mind, that I didn't take shit from anyone until it was like you.
And then they hate you. Actually,
Yeah.
they hate that.
It was so confusing to me because I was like, I have been myself, and you said you liked these things, but you actually like don't. You just kind of like the
Mhm.
idea of a strong, independent woman, but you don't actually like it.
I don't know. As I've gotten older, I'm unwilling to put up with a lot more things, and I realize that a lot of people there's a level of work to get what you want and the type of person that you want, but a lot of people are unwilling to put in that work. So it's like
Hmm.
unless you're ready to fulfill that work, to challenge yourself in all sorts of ways, it's tough to get what you think you want, and maybe when you actually get that person that you think you want, they may not actually be a fit for you. Like there's also that. I've seen a lot of people get stuck. I was in a situation where where there was another woman, and that girlie was really passionate about being with that man, and I just didn't get it because it's like,
Hmm.
girl, you know he's cheated on you multiple times. Like, you really want him? Like, you really want him? Are you going to be able to trust this person? Is this person going to be able to fundamentally respect you after he's cheated on you several times and you keep taking him back? No, no. So,
Yeah.
yeah, is that really what you want? Like, yeah, I see this a lot with people who try to make a lot of relationships work where I'm like, what is it that you want from this relationship? I want love from a partner that I feel comfortable around and understands me. Is that what you're getting right now? Run. You know what I mean? Like, I think obviously there's more into that. A lot of people get stuck in, they have attachment issues and they hold on to things maybe longer than they should. That's their journey. I think the simplification of getting what you want is truly knowing at the core of like your values and the things that are going to fulfill you. If in my relationship you want respect, you want your time to be valued, you want to feel heard by someone, and that's just something that's constantly not being met, then you like the idea of this person and their potential. But a quote that I heard this week that really did something, tweaked me out. They're like, the potential that you see in someone is not real. That is a projection of something you would do, of your response, of your behavior. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm out here trying to find myself in places in all these other people when they're never going to reach that because they're not me.
That's honestly a sad. I was gonna say something crazy, but it honestly does make me sad that people aren't gonna reach their full potential just because, like, their my perception of their full potential is like my perception on what I could do in their vessel. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it's not like the reality of like what they could do. It's like based on what I could do if I were them. And that's
yeah,
actually, it makes me kind of sad because it's like, oh man, I really just want the best for them, but it's like this might be the best. So that's why I think you should
yeah,
just accept people for the way that
yeah.
they are, because
Exactly,
let's
exactly.
assume they're doing their best,
This
right?
is this is actually their best. Yeah, that was a hard pill to swallow the other day. I was like, wow, that shows a violent thought in the morning. But there's also something great in that because it's like if I see all this goodness in other people, that means that I have that in myself. And I don't
Mm.
believe that other people don't have that. Like I know my friends have that. I know some of my guy friends have that. Like would I have a relationship with them? No, but like there's people out there who do have that. So it's like I don't know. I think sometimes we get caught up on thinking we want something when it may not be that specific thing, but something better. And I think a lot about rejection when it comes to that. When we talk about like it's redirection, it's whatever, but it's like let go or get dragged. You know what I mean? Like if a situation persists on making you feel like you're being rejected, I think that is your calling to let it go. And I think you have to have fundamental faith that there's just something better for you out there, like something different, and that's okay that it's not working out this 1 second. I see me trying to make some situations work and work and work, and honestly, I'm exhausted. You know what I mean? Why don't I just let go and let another situation find me?
And I think how you can get over something is, at least for me, like, with like finding a new job, I had like, I don't know, like 10 fucking interviews and I sent out 300 resumes, almost more than that, I think. Whenever I got a rejection, I was like, okay, cool, 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 cool. What did I like about that job? Is it that specific job or what was it? And most of the time it was the money, which is the easiest thing to find out of, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like I wanted to work for this company so badly. It's like, no, I wanted more money and I liked the amount of money they were going to offer me?
Yeah.
So that made it easier to let things go and then being like, okay, well, actually, this opportunity wasn't my perfect opportunity because of my values. And babes, I could tell you a million times about like journaling and like a little vision board. And if you're not the type of vision board person, like Pinterest can be a vision board. Like, like I truly feel like you can make it easy for yourself on like creating a vision, because I think if once you have like the image and like an image, a visualization of what you want, and then why you want it and what specifically about that image do you want, so you can just kind of like hone in on like making sure you're going after what you really want and not kind of the shiny things. Have you ever read? Yeah, it's The Alchemist, but essentially, honestly, all of he's written a bunch of books. Most of them are weird. That's the only one worth reading. But it's a really good one that I think talks a lot about this, where it's like it's a comparison of like what you want versus like what you really want.
Yeah, it's like what you alchemy is like what you make with what you got essentially, right? When it's like something that could be like negative, it's like trauma or whatever, and what you're gonna make with that.
But it's basically this story about like life is everything you look at when you're not focused on a singular point. Like a lot of the times, it's kind of like the forest versus a tree. Like if you're focused on a singular tree, you have this vast world that you're not looking at. So it's kind of like if you are asking for the wrong thing and focused on trying to attain the wrong thing, and kind of like basically put a singular goal on a pedestal, you're missing out on like life.
And I think most people know when things are aligning with them. I think that when things don't align with you, there's just different ways that they come up. I used to have a lot of like social anxiety in high school, and I used to obviously want to feel accepted. And I feel like people still hold this to this day, whether it's a type of group, a social group, an industry that you really want to be part of. If you don't feel appreciated in that space, let them go and like hold out, because something I will say about the groups that I thought I wanted to be part of, later it came out that like the people in these groups, a, were being super mean to each other. Okay, so my feeling
Yeah.
of not being accepted, that was happening within it, so people felt like shit and were treating each other like shit. People were like sexually abusing each other. Like there was a lot of really awful things going on in those dynamics that, now that I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I felt like so rejected and that I didn't fit in. But like, honestly, thank God. Like, thank God I was not part of that mess, because obviously, like, and more had I tried to fit in, and like, more had I tried to change myself to fit in these ways, maybe I could have ended up in a different place in my life, you know? So if something, if the math's not mathing somewhere, uh, give it a gentle tug the other way.
The math, not math. And I actually was thinking about how 50% of my social anxiety was like just not being able, feeling like I fit into some place that I was literally never going to fit in, because we're talking about a predominantly, I wasn't white. I wasn't white, blonde hair, Pullman 10 out of 10. And it was never going to happen, unfortunately. And that's just the reality of the situation. And like, I'm kind of sad I lost so much time trying to fit into a place that I was never going to fit, babes. But now that I don't try to be in those rooms anymore, and the world's a big wide place with a lot of fucking rooms, all right? So if you're not fitting in a single room, go open up some other doors because you'll find a place.
Yes, and validation from others, within social media or recognition or whatever, it's not always what it seems. I think you will, once put in a situation, you'll realize you have more haters than friends or fans. I have sometimes I think about like, wow, this is the most followers I've ever had, the least amount of likes, and I'm like, interesting. You know what I mean? Because it's like people are watching it that I know, because obviously like I don't have that many like randos specifically on Instagram. And that variation, sometimes I think about that. And you know, I think you should be careful what you wish for sometimes when it comes to that, and realize, because I had a lot of, I think, value in how I was perceived and like how much I was liked when I was younger. And now I can tell you, I really don't care. I really don't care. They're like, oh, what you said like may have rubbed people the wrong way. I was like, not everyone's gonna like me. Not everyone's gonna like me. I'm acting at the best of my ability, but it is what it is. And there's peace in that. There really is. So be careful what you wish for. Sometimes the things that we want may not be the things we actually deserve or need. Sometimes the things that we want are actually not up to par to what we deserve, and we should really look at what we deserve a little fondlier.
Okay, babes. Like always, thank you guys so much for coming this week. We hope that your ear holes enjoyed this episode. We love having you here, and you can make sure to review, rate the podcast, and send it to a friend. It helps us out a lot. And you can always find us on Instagram at thanks number for your concern. I'm at Ella L Tutor.
I'm at Bernice DSM.
See ya.
Bye.